We are 1 week out from AEW All Out, but before we even get to All Out, did CM Punk just confirm that Daniel Bryan is coming to AEW? We're going to talk about it in just a second, so stay tuned. This is the Elite Maniac podcast. What's up, people? Welcome to the Elite Maniac podcast, where we discuss all things AEW. My name is Mex, aka WrestleManiac UK, and I'm alongside my co-host Mike, aka Kings Road Wrestling, aka 10K followers on Instagram. We gotta get
Let's
that one in.
go. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thanks everyone for helping build Mike up to the massive landmark of 10K. But we are here today because we have a new style show today. We will be talking AEW, but in just a second, I'm going to kind of explain to you what this show is going to look like going forward. But before we get into all of that, please make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. And for all our audio listeners, please make sure you subscribe or follow us on your podcast platform of choice. Leave us with a 5-star review. Let the people know about the great job myself and Mike are doing right here at the Elite Maniac podcast. Mike, how you doing?
I'm great. I am currently making a post to try to, I got links now that I can put on my story. So I'm going to put that on right now so people could swipe up and just join our YouTube, hopefully. But I'm great. I can't believe that I got to 10K. It happened in the middle of a live stream I was doing just on Wednesday. And all of a sudden everyone was like, yo, 10K. And I was like, man, that's really surreal. What's also wild is I have like a backup account that I made with under like your suggestion when I had account problems back in the day. And one of the videos that I posted randomly got 1.5 million views, and now that's almost at like 5,000 followers. So like maybe I'll have two accounts that are 10,000.
It sounds like you're going that way,
right? What's wild? Yeah.
You need to give me the secrets of the trade. You're growing Instagram accounts out here for fun now.
Just for fun. I'm just doing it, for shits and gigs.
Cool. But yeah, no, it's a great achievement. Well done again.
Thank you.
And yeah, now you can drop those links straight in there and invite the people over to the show. So what I was kind of insinuating at the beginning of the show just there, with Mike, as well as obviously, gaining that 10K, Mike is now a working man. So we have had to kind of mix up our schedule. As well as commitments on my side. Some days aren't, the best days for myself to record. So what myself and Mike will be doing now, 1 p.m. What's your time thing called? Your time zone? Is it EST, right?
Eastern Standard Time. It's the East Coast.
That's the one. So from now on, 2 p.m. EST, 7 p.m. UK time, BST, we're going to be doing like a super show, talking everything Dynamite, everything Rampage, everything AEW from that week. Yeah. So you're getting a super show now every Sunday, 2 p.m. EST, 7 p.m. UK time.
Yeah.
Today is obviously just about an hour early, but going forward, that's what it will be. Live on the channel, live into your podcast streams on your platforms. AEW Dynamite, AEW Rampage, and AEW stuff in general. We're going to cover it all in one show for the week. So we hope you really enjoy this kind of new format going forward. And it'll help. We'll just pick out like the biggest stories of the week and, really all discuss it. You guys always get involved in the chat. So keep that up. So I won't waste any more time kind of introducing that. That's what it will be going forward. So, Mike, you're going to lead us off with what's been happening in AEW this week.
Yep. We're going to pick our top 5 big news, groundbreaking stuff. And then we're going to go over a lot of that and some of our standout moments of the week. So it's going to be really fun. And I can't wait to get right into number 1. Really cool moment that happened.
Before you do, I've got a quick question here from Stefan Frisbee. Thanks for joining us in the chat, Stefan. And this is a yes or no question for you so we can go on. Do you think Bray Wyatt is going to AEW?
Yes, and Braun will go to Impact. That's my decision.
Cool. All right. You've heard it from the man. Let's go. Let's talk about the first thing.
Let's talk about it. So my first of the top 5 moments of AEW this week were the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon, Cero Miedo, and his brother Rey Fenix prevailing over Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus on AEW Rampage. Therefore, qualifying for the finals of the AEW Tag Team Eliminator, they will be facing the Young Bucks at All Out in a steel cage for the AEW Tag Team titles. Now, this match on Rampage on Friday was the highlight of Rampage, easily, and I thought it was so good. I want your thoughts on this match. I just thought it was so solid, right?
Fantastic match. This opened the show, right?
Yes, first match, and then it kind of died down afterwards. The whole like Rampage went. Not to be too critical, but.
No, this was a very, very good match, and I kind of expected Jurassic Express to get the win here, and you'll then see them go on and beat the Bucks in the cage and actually become tag team champions. So I was kind of surprised they didn't get the win, but Lucha Bros, getting to this point it's so good for them because it's like they haven't really been doing a lot of anything in AEW.
But they've been so good every time they have done something. So it's just
agreed.
Like frustrating to a lot of people,
Agreed. So yeah, it's fantastic for them. A cage match against the Bucks is going to be absolute madness. Like there's so many good wrestling matches on face value, like on paper, on that All Out card. And Lucha Bros in a cage with the Bucks is going to be absolutely crazy. Somehow we're probably going to get shenanigans of, the rest of the Super Elite entering the cage some way, somehow.
Somehow.
Like
they need to make this a Hell in a Cell, really, to totally keep everybody out because we know that they climb it.
Yeah, that's exactly true. I can imagine Carl Anderson. I can see him right now scaling that cage to somehow get in.
That's our prediction for the All Out already.
And I just feel like it's very hard to call. Like just because the Lucha Bros haven't been doing much, I'm not sure if they will get the win. But
right,
I can imagine at the same time they do. Like,
so All Out, which we'll get to the card because that's in our top 5. But this match in specific is one of the matches that I have no idea. Making a prediction would be very difficult. Like you said, the Bucks have an amazing chance of retaining. And if you look at it, the Good Brothers have their Impact belts. Those aren't going anywhere. They retained at Emergence. Kenny probably not losing to Christian Cage. So like, can the Bucks lose their belts and be the first ones to fall from the Elite? I don't know if that's a possibility, but can the Lucha Bros, they, like you said, have done so much good in AEW, have really just been kind of, I'm not going to say underutilized because I think that they have a great platform now, but they're just kind of stuck in this weird spot.
Yeah. And I always tend to look at things, and maybe that's too much looking at the bigger picture, but I always tend to look at things like, okay, these guys have got belts now. What's the future of Pac hold? Because obviously those guys are all together, Death Triangle. So if those two win the tag team belts, is Pac gonna go on to become TNT champion? I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at it too big, but like you said, they've been doing a whole lot of nothing for quite a long time. When they are on screen, when they are having matches, we know how brilliant they are. But really and truly, this is the first thing they can really sink their teeth into for a while. And I would be looking forward to them winning these tag championships. Nick and Matt have been great with them, especially since the Super Elite stuff kicked off. Before that, it was a bit dry sort of thing. They weren't doing much.
Yeah, but it's turned around.
But yeah, they've turned it around recently. But if the Lucha Bros won it, and especially the fact that they don't speak fluent English and stuff like that. And it just leads us to get excellent tag team match after tag team match, because ultimately, without sounding disrespectful, that's really all they can give us. Just excellent, in-ring performances. So if that leads us to just getting loads and loads of great tag team matches, then I'm here for it. I completely don't
I'm
mind.
fine with it. And we got
Yeah.
Rampage now, which is wrestling heavy instead of promo heavy. Maybe
Yeah,
they're going to defend on that a lot. I know somebody said like maybe a week ago in the live chat, they're like, oh, they need to get rid of Alex Abrahantes. Well, we both really like him. And second of all, that can't happen because they really need kind of a translator. To cut promos. But I'm super down for this. I thought that going back to the match on Rampage, it was just so excellent. And there was like two spots. Penta like threw Phoenix. He like threw him as he was doing a tope into the Jurassic Express, and I was like, oh my god. And then they like Phoenix like walked the ropes again, which whenever he does that, it's just so
mad.
amazing.
He's mad.
He's mad. And if you can get me to like, I am a recently, as you've known, I've been getting very into deathmatch wrestling because that's a lot of what's running in New Jersey. I usually really pop hard for those spots because they're crazy. If you could get me to pop for like just traditional wrestling spot, then you're doing something crazy, because I've seen it all. You know what I mean? And the Lucha Brothers just give me that every single time. So I'm pumped for the steel cage match, and I can't wait to see it. I got all out ordered, ready to go, and I'm ready for Sunday, man.
Yeah, I think like you said, that match was fantastic. I think there's a particular spot. I can't remember what Penta done on the apron to Jungle Boy, and then Phoenix caught him and gave him a destroyer on the apron.
The destroyer, yeah. Brutal. I went and felt the apron last night. I was at a show last night. I felt the apron. Dude, I was like, so in indie shows they bang the apron like to cheer. It hurt my hand. I can't imagine doing that. Like really, like that's insane. Props to those guys. Yeah.
Honestly, you really learn, what they're putting themselves through. Two quick predictions here from Stefan Frisbee in the chat. He thinks in the future Ray vs Penta will happen and be crazy, and he also thinks that Pac will lose to Andrade.
I think so too.
Yeah, Andrade needs a big.
He does, because his matches have been not bad, but he's just I don't know, something just hasn't been clicking.
We're not seeing the guy that we thought we were getting just yet.
I think we were getting La Sombra.
Yeah, I think it will come. It's just not yet. It hasn't happened yet.
Not yet, for sure. Well, that's our first moment of the week that we felt like highlighting. And if we can get into number 2, which is another big one. Chris Jericho, Le Champion. He had a heartfelt, emotional address to the crowd on Dynamite. He came out there to his song as usual, but you could tell on his face that something was up. He was just, he didn't look right. And when he started cutting his promo and talking about what he wanted to talk about, you definitely felt that. He talked about how, he went through everything for the 5 labors of Jericho to get this match with MJF. He went through Glass. He went through Juventud Guerrera. He went through Wardlow and Shawn Spears. And in the end, like, what an anticlimactic ending. He ended up tapping out, and it's been driving him nuts. He can't stop thinking about it. He's losing sleep over it. He just can't get it out of his mind that he lost to MJF in that fashion. And he does something very risky and very brave, and ends up putting everything on the line for a shot at All Out.
Yeah.
What was how are you feeling during this promo when he was talking about everything? I felt bad for him, really.
I mean, it was well delivered and everything like that. It was a well delivered promo, and I only expect that from someone as good as Jericho. What really kind of frustrated me was, okay, so now you're basically begging for the blow off match. If you beat me, then I'll retire, which should have been the climax of this anyway. It looks like it's going to be at All Out. But the issue is the 5th labor, like we said weeks ago, should have been somebody else. It should have been Lance Storm or whomsoever that, everyone wanted to see. Why was the 5th labor MJF? You lost to MJF, and now MJF is giving you another opportunity at the pay-per-view. You see what I mean? They should have definitely brought in whomsoever, the competitor is to be, to take on Jericho. Jericho beats them for the 5th labor, so now he's completed the 5 labors. Then he says to MJF, now you come out, blah blah blah, and I'm going to challenge you to a match. MJF tries to find a way to squirm out of it, and then Jericho goes, okay, let's do this. I'll put my career on the line if you beat me, and we'll have that match at All Out. And this whole labors thing would have made sense. Yes, it has
kind of
still
diminished the labors, right?
Yeah. I mean, it still felt a bit underwhelming. Literally, from Nick Gage was the pinnacle of the labors, and then even with Hoovy, it was a great match to see, but it went downhill from there. It was on its way down, if you like. Wardlow on its way down. MJF as the last labor on its way down. Like, they played this entire thing wrong in terms of just the ordering of it, especially. Juventud Guerrera, just the fact that it was like you can't use a certain what was it? He can't use the he has to use a high flying move.
Yeah, yes, which is stupid.
It was stupid, but ultimately that should have been the first match, and then maybe the second match should have been a submission match against Lance Storm, and then maybe after that it should have been some other kind of match, and then Sean Spears in the chairs match, and then Nick Gage in the death match.
You can't death match second. It doesn't make any sense.
Like, come on, downhill from there.
Don't tell me that Juventud Guerrera is harder to beat than Nick Gage. Come on.
Exactly.
No, he's not.
Exactly they built the order of it incorrectly.
In respect to Juventud.
The stipulations, of course, the stipulations were in the wrong order. They've put the guy that needed, the final boss, aka MJF, was part of the labors, and now you're gonna face the final boss again after losing.
Again, I really want to bring into this conversation exactly. I think it echoes what you're saying. Bleacher Report, I was reading their analysis of this whole segment earlier, and they said that if there's one thing AEW doesn't need, it's another match between Jericho and MJF. While the feud has been entertaining, it's been gone and done enough already, and already accomplished what it set out by elevating MJF. I think that's so accurate. I would have rather just had them wait for the 5th labor if they were going to go this avenue and do it all out instead of having this Dynamite match, which didn't make a lot of sense. It's just like, but this is their 4th meeting and he's lost 3 of the 4. Like, MJF is already where he needs to be. He's the leader of a big faction. He's got all the eyes on him in the world. Like, this is, I don't know what is this going to accomplish. Maybe, and I think that we should start moving into this avenue of the conversation. Maybe this is Jericho leaving. Could it?
Well, I mean, people have said that he's going on tour, Fozzy, and all of that kind of stuff. I don't really. I don't follow his personal life or what he's doing with his band, so that may be the case. It may not be.
I don't follow Fozzy either. So.
So I mean, I don't know that. I mean, it makes sense, but or he'll just join the commentary team on Rampage full time, or who knows? Obviously, I think he's got his Jericho cruise coming up, actually, doesn't he?
The Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea, yes.
That's coming up. So that might be another reason why he may be going for a while or whatever. So, like, ultimately, Jericho has to beat MJF now at All Out. And if Jericho doesn't win, the question is, what is the point in any of this? You see what I mean?
I get what you mean. To retire, I guess to retire him.
If MJF beats him twice, then okay. But then MJF has beaten Jericho, a year ago, 2 years ago or so? In AEW?
He beat him a bunch of times, and then to get into the inner circle it's just weird.
This is what I mean. Where are we going with this? Like Bleacher Report said, this has been done. We've kind of achieved what we needed to achieve with this particular story of these two. MJF,
I'm honestly down for it though. Putting him away. I really like Chris Jericho. I really, really liked him as champion and everything. But the fact of the matter is there's so much talent that came in recently, like so much, unbelievable. Like, and there's only limited time, limited space. I think it is maybe, and this is with all due respect to him, time to step back and let some of the younger talent, some of the new people come in and shine. And you know, when you break it down, it's a match card, it's a time slot that they are using, and there's other stuff that I want to see too. And I think that it's just already been accomplished what it needs to do. Now, I'm not saying I never want to see him again, but maybe come back for something that is a really good story. But for right now, I wouldn't mind him just focusing on commentary, planning the cruise, more of an executive role in the company.
I 100% agree. And it just leads me to ask the question and think, why did we need that fifth labor then? Or why didn't the fifth labor be this match, like you said? Or why wasn't the fifth labor the retirement stipulation as it is now? It's they can't get everything right. You know, I'm not trying to rip apart AEW here, but yeah, this one had loads of good potential. You know, even when the Shawn Spears match happened, I was half invested. You know, whatever. When we were getting a death match on AEW, I was fully invested. I was like, "Yep, I need to see this." And then I was on a high, and then they said they're bringing in Juventud Guerrero. I was like, "Okay, brilliant." And then, yeah, from there, the story just kind of went downhill. And again, I think generally the bigger scenario here, and I think I kind of got that in the tone of the Bleacher Report article you just read. Does anyone actually want to see this match? Forget the story. I'm talking about the match in the ring between these two guys. Do you want to see a Jericho MJF match?
No, I'm not like that crazy. Like MJF is a great heel. He's very similar to Jay White. They're just very great on the mic and they're great characters. But like, is their wrestling ability like unbelievable? Are we going to be at the edge of our seats like watching this? No, like then you need the story to back it up. And if the story's not there, like we already said, like we're not really invested in this. I'd rather see like a young talent, or I'd rather see like maybe Garcia go out there, the flavor of the month. I'd rather see my boy Janela do something crazy for All Out. Just make it like a spectacle, like a spectacle match. That'd be really cool. That's what I'd rather see. And not to harp on Dynamite too much. But it's not necessarily in our top 5 as a point of contention. But I just thought that this week was very weak. It wasn't a great. The crowd was terrible. I've never seen a worse crowd than this. It was hard to watch. It really was. They were like asleep, like in Wisconsin. Like, what are you doing over there? Come on, man. Rampage and Dynamite were like the worst crowds ever. Second of all, like you're coming off the biggest show that you've had in the last 2 years, the first dance at the United Center, and like you're booking like really like dark elevation matches for Dynamite. You have a new
my god, yeah. I was thinking that last hour, I was thinking, am I watching the right show?
I was already tired from work, and I was just like I was in the seat, like just like come on here. And you have a set of new eyes on the product, right? You had 1.2 million viewers because people were tuning in from Punk, and then let's put Billy Gunn out there. No offense to Billy Gunn, but he's not.
And the factory stuff, I'm sorry, the factory,
it's not working. The Hardy family
are dead.
So is the Hardy family office, and they put them on too.
Yeah, the Hardy family office. The only thing is, there's a bit more character amongst the people involved. Like the bunny brings a lot of character. The blade brings a lot of character. What do they call themselves? What them two boys called?
Two.
No.
TH2.
No, not TH2.
Private Party.
I don't know why I never remember their names these days. Private Party are always. I nearly called them the Shop Boys, to be fair, but I knew that wasn't their name. Private Party. There's character in the Hardy family office, but the factory have nothing. Like,
I feel bad.
Ogogo was the factory.
Where is he?
He was Ogogo, and Ogogo's in England. Like, he's over here.
Yeah, man. It's just like it's just a flop, right?
Yeah, it's not.
What else can you but to go back to it, like it just wasn't a great episode this week. I mean, and we're finding the good right now, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. We are finding the good, but there was, I think this was like my lowest rated episode, like that since I began doing these show ratings.
What did you give it?
Like a flat 7, but I was tempted to do like a 6. I really was, because I just wasn't into it at all.
You gave it 7 out of 10. I
gave it a 7 out of 10 because there were some great some great wrestling and some great segments, but there was
Okay.
some bad too.
Mm.
I don't know, man. I probably should have given it a 6, but I wasn't sure if I was just tired or bored. But now looking back on it, it just wasn't that great.
I think maybe 6.5 would have been fair. We've
Mm-hmm.
got Alexis Garcia in the chat.
What's up, man?
I
Good to
hope
see you
next
here.
week is good. I'll be attending Dynamite on Wednesday. Lucky lad.
Oh, nice.
Lucky.
Nice. I
Nice.
think there's some good stuff booked for this week. Obviously, we have the build up to All Out.
That's the other thing. I think they're 1 week out from their pay per view or so, and it's that awkward point of we don't want to give them the go home angle just yet. So it's like, what do we do in the meantime?
That makes sense.
So
that's a very good point.
I think that's a thing where it gets a bit sticky. I often see, on WWE programming, which is a lot worse than AEW, it gets to that point where it's just before the pay-per-view, but we still have the go-home angle to do. But so what do we do the week before?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I cannot believe some of the things that they've done in the last 2 weeks over in the land of the sports entertainment. I'm just like flabbergasted really with the Becky Lynch thing, but what can you do, man?
I watched it live and my jaw was on the ground. I couldn't believe what happened. I blinked and that happened, and I was asking people that I watched it with, what happened? Like, did I miss something? Like, what? Like, honestly, but we're not here to talk about the land of sports entertainment.
No, but shout out to Walter and Dragunov for
5.25 by Mr. Meltzer.
And I would have went high. I went higher. I mean, that was incredible. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the world of AEW, but branch out. Trust us when we say this, that you need to watch that match from TakeOver 36. Really, really great stuff. But we've been talking about the Jericho. If you have comments on the Jericho MJF angle or thoughts, make sure to drop them. We would love to hear if we're on the same page as everyone else or we're just in the minority here. So
no, that's true. It's two really good guys, but like you said, MJF top heel. Jericho, fantastic character. In terms of the wrestling, which could have been the saving grace in this feud, I don't think anyone's really interested in the match they can have. So, and at this point at All Out, I would say, just to end on this, it probably shouldn't be a straight up match. It should probably be, a non-disqualification match or something along those lines. Just a real end to a blood feud. But
I want to see some violence between them.
Of course, I want to see some violence because everything's on the line here. Everything is on the line for Jericho's career.
Yeah,
so they shouldn't be having a straight up match, in my opinion.
I bet they'll maybe change it this week to something. Maybe a development will happen. Hopefully, I hope so. Yeah, some kind of cool stipulation. Put them up, tie him to a bull rope or something, or just something cool.
Yeah, Alexis is with us. He says, "I agree. I don't want Jericho versus MJF again."
Honorable mention before we get to number 3, ladies and gentlemen, to UK's own Jamie Hayter. Wow, she is really freaking good. And I think that it's very sad to say, I don't want to be insulting, but the skill gap between Jamie Hayter and Red Velvet that we saw on Wednesday was just so apparent. Like, you could see that stardom experience that she had. Like, she just was leaps and bounds better than most of the 99% of the women in AEW, really.
Yeah, I was literally, you just took the words out of my mouth. I would want to see her against some other
Rio, Yuka.
I mean, I've seen her stardom work, and like you're saying, it is very good. But I just think I don't think that match was a fair reflection on Red Velvet. I think maybe it's just a lack of chemistry. Yeah, I think it was more than a lack of chemistry, more than she's brilliant, and way more brilliant than Red Velvet. Of course, she's more experienced, so we expect her to be better. But I just think the chemistry just wasn't there at all.
But I can't wait to see more. I'm really liking her. She's sick, and I'm just interested to see what happens with this whole Britt Baker angle, the bell, looming. I wish B. Priestley was here still, but we got someone really good. So shout out to Britt Baker, who was actually the one really campaigning to bring her on to AEW. So it's just really cool. But Number 3, ladies and gentlemen, of our top 5 of the week. Best in the world, CM Punk. I was at an indie show last night, like I said, and there was a CM Punk chant just going on. So people are just loving this in the United States, and I know probably that's happening in the United Kingdom too. Everybody's just pumped about this guy. He comes out and makes his Dynamite debut on Dynamite this week. Unfortunately, he did it with like the worst crowd of all time, like we stated in Milwaukee, but he still said a lot of cool stuff, and it was great to see him on TV. Like he said at the first dance, he's got the time now, and he wants to really share his stuff. And he just froze over there in the corner. I hope that I'm still recording, everybody.
Me?
Yeah, your video's frozen, but okay. Yeah, your eye. It's like your.
I can still hear you.
Okay, so I'll just keep going. Yeah, keep going. We got a little bit of an idea of why CM Punk is back in wrestling. Like he stated at the first dance and repeated on Dynamite, he named several of the young stars that are on the roster that really inspired him to make the return to AEW in wrestling as a whole. He named Brian Pillman Jr., Jungle Boy, Ricky Starks as these people that he wants to work with in AEW. And it's just really, really cool to see him wanting to work with this young talent. A lot of people were really concerned that he was just going to come back, get thrown in the main event scene, and take the belt. And it was supposed to be Hangman's belt, and there was already, a storyline left up for that. But no, CM Punk, I think, is not here to just take a belt. He might not even be here for a championship. He is here for the young talent and to work with them and ultimately help them and elevate them. And that's exactly what he's doing. So in this segment, he specifically talked about Darby Allin as someone that is just so inspiring to him. And now officially this match has been set up for All Out. It will be Darby versus CM Punk in Chicago. I don't even know. Could this be the main event? Or is this like, right? How can you not make this the main event? I'm just so excited for this match. This is like what I'm really looking forward to.
There is a part of me that thinks, yes, it should be the main event, but maybe I'm traditional with this opinion, and I know a lot of us do share this opinion. The title should always main event. The world title.
A lot of people, yeah.
So it's hard to say, Punk going on last feels right. Winning maybe at the end, because that's my prediction, he's gonna win. And the crowd actually going ballistic for him, and that's how the show ends. CM Punk chants in Chicago. But like I said, I think the world title is.
I feel like AEW is very exactly. I wouldn't say they're a traditional wrestling company. They're very progressive in a lot of things that they do, and they're willing to try new things. But a lot of the booking, a lot of the traditional rules and things that make up a wrestling promotion, AEW does it very by the book. And the world title for them, it always goes on last. So I totally can see where you're coming from, and I totally, I totally agree with that. I just haven't decided what I would like to see, but I guess we'll leave that up to him. But he had like a little bit of a promo with Christian Cage after the show. And I have this up. He came out. Look at that, man. He looks beefy. And if you guys can't see, I'm holding up a picture of CM Punk. He just looks very chiseled, very in shape.
I was listening to the media scrum the other day, and he said that he needs to, and to be honest, this might be, take it with a pinch of salt. He made it seem like he hasn't been training or anything, that he needs to start training before he gets in the ring with Darby. But yeah, exactly. He said, he's far off kind of being ready and needs to do some more training. But yeah, like you said, he's in good shape. I could see that from when he debuted at Rampage. I said he looks very good. Like he looks lean, and he looks like he's ready to go. He wouldn't have signed this contract or whatever. Like you said, I think it's come out in interviews and stuff over the past few weeks now. This guy was ready to come back almost 18 months ago, but obviously there was no crowd or anything like that. This, that, and the other.
You can't do that. You can't do that too.
Maybe not 18 months ago. Sorry, maybe about 12 months. Yeah, he's been ready to come back. and sign up with AEW. So of course, in that time, he's been physically getting himself ready for this. So yeah,
and he looks great. He's definitely ready to go, and this match is gonna be killer. I can't wait for this. Like the story, the whole thing is just so cool with this young up and coming guy facing like really what is a legend. We don't really sometimes think of CM Punk as a legend, but he really is. And this is just gonna be crazy, man.
Alexis Garcia says here that Kenny versus Pac was opening match. I think he's at All Out 2019. Or one of the first matches on the night, so they could do something like that. That's true.
Yeah, Jericho has stated and a lot of people have mentioned you want to be early or late. You don't want to be in the middle. So
Black Nito, thanks for joining us. Said it's a tough spot to be in because you don't want the crowd to fall flat coming off a CM Punk Darby Allin match. Match placement is going to be crucial.
So crucial.
And they've got so many like top matches, really good matches.
Yeah.
But that Paul White, what's his face match? QT Marshall match. That has to come before the world title or before this. Let people use that as a toilet break. Go get your drinks. Go refuel.
Yeah.
And
Paul's not going to be hitting any moonsaults, So
yeah. Use that as a toilet break, and then come back to the match.
This is a really interesting point brought up by Nito, though, that I didn't really think about until I started doing this podcast with you and really breaking down wrestling. I went to Revolution, and the match placement was a little bit off, like he mentioned. That really affects the outcome of the show. I remember, like, I was so excited for Ryo Mizunami versus Shida. For the Women's World Championship, but they placed it just like after a banger of a match. I don't remember the exact, and people were going to get beers, go to the bathroom, and they just weren't into it. Also, CM Punk, all these guys that are coming out at All Out, Kenny, Pac, Andrade, like it's very hard to cheer for hours on end. Like, so there are points of the show when people get quiet, they're just, resting, or they're tired. And you don't want that to happen to something that's majorly hyped. You want that crowd reaction. So crucial is going to be this placement of the match card. I don't know how they're going to do it. That's on them, not us.
Yeah, that's true. And Alexis Garcia, says, I just hope the tag title cage match and Punk versus Darby don't go after each other. Yeah, so this is what we're saying. The match card, once it's being put together, the ordering of it is so crucial. Guys in the chat are also talking about Kenta throwing shots at Punk, and
that's
that we
great.
need to get a CM Punk versus Kenta match.
Kenta's sick though. As our saga continues of the disaster that's happening in the land of the rising sun of Japan, everybody is just sick over there. So they come to the US and stay there, which a lot of guys are doing. A lot of guys
live in the US. They live in the US and just go to Japan just for the filming and stuff. So.
Ospreay's here. He's not going back. And Ospreay also called out Punk a couple months ago. So
let's get
a lot of stuff. Let's get it. Kind of to finish out this point, CM Punk also retired the voice of the voiceless moniker that he was using in WWE because he has a voice in AEW. The people who are like him have a voice because AEW listens. That's what he stated. And then kind of to go along with the graphic of our show today and the big theme, those yes chants happen. And, you know who the yes chants were from? They're from Daniel Bryan and his run in WWE with yes. People started doing it during Punk's promo, and he said something very interesting. What did you think about this?
So Punk basically said, to kind of settle the crowd, get them to calm down a bit, that that's not my shtick, and you might have to be a bit more patient before the guy that comes in that does that arrives, basically something along those lines. And I mean, this is no surprise. We all pretty much knew that Daniel Bryan was AEW bound in some way, shape, or form within the next couple of months. But again, this is AEW probably allowing Punk. Like I say allowing Punk. I don't think Punk's promo was scripted. I don't think this is something they went through. So I think this is more of one of these open secrets that Tony Khan, the EVPs, everyone has. We know Daniel Bryan's coming. Same way we knew that Punk was coming. So it wasn't a fact of, I don't have to tell you he's coming, but we could talk about it. We could talk about it, and that's basically what Punk did here. Like, okay, you're doing a yes chance. The guy that does that, he's coming soon. Don't worry.
Mhm.
He confirmed Daniel Bryan without basically saying Daniel Bryan is coming to AEW. So
Yep.
of course it's exciting times. The only other development I've heard this week is that we all thought that Daniel Bryan was coming for that New York show in September.
Arthur Ashe Stadium, Queens, New
Correct.
York, Wrestle Grand Slam.
But now it sounds like Daniel Bryan's debuting at All Out. Have you heard this?
I have. They apparently some sources have reported that they moved it up to All Out. The reason being, we aren't quite sure yet. It's an interesting move if true, because there's a lot going on. Then Tony Khan also did say that there's going to be a few surprises at All Out. I think I would have just kept it for 2-3 weekends from now. I think that it was really cool. Maybe something else is happening at Arthur Ashe, though. Maybe something even bigger than Bryan. I don't know.
I mean, the Arthur Ashe show is, if I'm correct, maybe about 4 weeks away after 4 weeks after All Out. So
about a month. Yep.
Yeah, maybe it was too far for some other storyline plans. It might fall in line with what they want to do storyline wise. Alexis Garcia said in the chat, maybe they're reserving that date for Adam Cole, baby. Who knows?
Well, I would put Bryan over Cole, though.
In terms of giving him his own.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Adam Cole, but
you know what? I think maybe as well, and I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. I'm just speculating here, but maybe they don't want Daniel Bryan's debut to be like Punk's, in terms of this is the arena. Everyone, let's sell out this arena.
Point.
And then Daniel Bryan will turn up. Maybe they just do something a bit different where, it's a pay-per-view. Daniel Bryan comes out after someone wins or something like that. You see what I mean? Just to switch it up and make it a bit different.
I really agree with that. I think you're spot on.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan's, he's a massive name in pro wrestling. Massive name. But he hasn't been away for 7 years. We've seen him wrestle on a wrestling product this year.
And it's just different the way his career and the trajectory and what happened with him. It's very different than Punk. And I totally agree with what you're saying. To do like the whole stadium thing, it just doesn't match up with who he is. He's not a disgruntled employee. He's not a rebel, an outcast of society. He's just a superstar and one of the best wrestlers ever. Yeah, he's just a great. So maybe throw him out there, and All Out's going to be. Man, all it's going to be sick because, this looks like it's going to happen. So, wow. It's cool, man. You got it ordered yet? Or what do you're?
So I'm going to like I guess what we call a pub or a bar. I don't even know if this is a pub.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch party, basically, yeah.
Okay, they have those here, but I can't focus. Like, I'm like, I don't know. It's like,
yeah, definitely. This is the first time I'm going to one. So, I'll make my mind up if I like it or not. We'll see.
Yeah, I would go. It's a great opportunity to meet like-minded friends and individuals who like this very niche hobby. Maybe becoming a little less niche, but still niche.
Yeah.
We have any statements about this CM Punk thing from anyone, or
what are the chat saying? And thanks again, guys. Those that are joining us live on the YouTube, please make sure you've hit the like button and subscribed as well if you're new here. No one really talking about the chat. There's other matches and stuff that are being discussed, but like we were saying, Daniel Bryan is what we all thought was coming. It looks like they're bringing him forward rather than debuting him at the Arthur Ashe Stadium. Alexis Garcia said he's going to watch All Out at the movie theater, which is
they're doing that too. Yeah, they're that's a great idea. Yeah, that's sick, dude. I guess I'm watching it alone because my friends, who some of them are kind of into this, they're just very distracting. I hope they don't listen to this, but they're just like, "Who's that? What? I don't understand." And then it's like you're trying to explain it to them, missing it.
I'm still watching. Yeah. I hear that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, man, let's get into what's the next thing we wanted to talk about today on the show.
Number 4 is we had two kind of very big clashes between competitors on both shows this week on Rampage and Dynamite. Between Kenny Omega and Christian Cage. That happened on Dynamite on Wednesday and on Friday again. And between Miro, the TNT champion, and Eddie Kingston. So let's get into the first one. Kenny Omega and Christian. Christian just came out after this. I think it was a match with Kenny. Right, it was a 6-man, or was this the Young Bucks, man? What was this? I'm blanking.
It was just
right
a
now.
segment. What the Kenny
Just
Omega Christian
the segment,
thing was
sorry,
just a segment. Yeah.
He
It was
came
just a
out
segment.
to
There was no match.
confront. Yeah, okay, sorry about that. They clashed ahead of All Out. And Christian got a beat down from the Super Elite. Michael Nakazawa and Brandon Cutler were really going into him. Don Callis was screaming at him. They were just really arguing and spraying him with the cold spray. So Christian got pretty beaten up after this little segment, which has been happening quite a lot on AEW programming. But I digress. It happened on Friday again. So Christian wanted a little bit of revenge in a very New Japan Pro Wrestling-esque fashion. They did a tag match between the competitors that will eventually face at All Out. So they did Brandon and Kenny facing Christian and Frankie Kazarian, the Elite Hunter, kind of in a preview match to get us a little bit hyped for what's happening on Sunday. And it was an okay match on Friday. It wasn't too great. Kenny just kind of acted like a heel, coward, backing out of the ring, and he didn't really want to fight Christian. And Christian and Frankie just really laid into Brandon Cutler, and he's the one that ultimately took the kill switch, the pin, and just they were able to get a little bit of revenge on the Elite for that beatdown on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, the Dynamite segment, it did nothing for this feud. I think there's another segment that kind of just they put it in the show. Yeah, we saw, Don Callis acting all silly. We saw Kenny Omega say to Christian, "You think you know me?" Obviously, Edge's, theme song.
Yeah, that was
which
nice.
is pretty funny. Yeah, but apart from that, again, and I'll put it down to they're in that funny spot the week before the go home show. How do we push this story forward without kind of giving away too much here? Maybe they should have just left them off the show. Maybe they should have done some backstage interview with JR or something.
Even a backstage attack would have been cooler than an in-ring attack.
Yeah,
like I remember Brian Cage attacked Moxley, threw him through the car. Like that was really like just a kind of a unique thing. Like maybe just something different. And I really like what you said about the Jim Ross thing, because those on the countdown to the pay-per-views, his JR segments, I always really like watching those.
Yeah. I felt just getting everyone all out in the ring and stuff for something we've probably seen last week, 2 weeks before that, 3 weeks before that. It's just a bit and maybe this is feeling a bit stifled, this particular angle, because we've seen Christian versus Kenny Omega just last week or so for the Impact Championship. So it's like we've seen the Impact Championship be won. Now we're still seeing these guys against each other because there's an AEW title on the line. I just feel, maybe like I say, they're just a week or so out from the pay-per-view, and it's like, what can we do to really push this story along? And
I would have threw like a training segment together, like if you ever go and watch Kenny's Battle Cry music video, it's like him training in Canada, like in the woods. Like I would have rather saw that, like the two like really hitting the iron, hitting the ropes, like training for this like huge upcoming match, something a little bit different. But we've just seen this already.
Those promos that like FTR and Proud and Powerful are doing.
Yeah, they're good.
Like,
they're good.
They're not there together, but it's like they're talking directly at the camera and they're switching between the two groups. Just something different. I don't think these guys just needed to be in the ring, on this show. Then, like you said, on Rampage, they were in the ring having a match. And then on Wednesday, we're probably going to see them in the ring again. You see what I mean?
Saying what? Like yelling at Callis again? Like
this is it. We know we're getting the all-out match between you guys. We just don't need to be. It's very kind of repetitive without furthering much at this point.
Exactly. But I'm still, having said that, excited for this all-out match. I think that I just want to see them get their 5-star match. I want to see Kenny get that 5-star title defense that really solidifies this championship run, and I want to see the nod to Christian. So I didn't look up the Meltzer rating for the Rampage, the first match that they had. I'm assuming it wasn't 5. It was pretty good. I just want to see that happen. So I'm ready for this match.
There's a question here from Black Nito. I think it's a good question. Does anyone feel the luster is falling off Christian Cage? To me, something is missing, especially if he's going to main event the pay-per-view. Well, Nito, I'll say it. If you don't know it already, I'm sure you do, because I know you're always here. I'm not a fan of Christian Cage. I'm not I respect him totally. Him coming back, winning the championship, great promos. These guys always seem to be better when they're younger when they're older, they're more experienced, the promos get better. But I've just never really been invested in Christian throughout his entire career. The minute him and Edge split up as a tag team, I've never been invested in him on his own, sort of thing. So I don't think the luster's actually falling off just yet. Maybe that's, for me, the luster was like never on, sort of thing. But
there was a series of bad events that happened because everyone thought it was Punk that was coming to Revolution, and then poor Christian comes out and everyone's like, I hate this guy, when like he's really
that was just underwhelming. That was very underwhelming. We've got a big star or something like that. That's what they said. We've got a big star to debut, and it was
Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, like give it a rest. Give it a rest. Yeah.
But I would say no to that though. Sorry, continue.
Fair enough. No, fair enough. I'm indifferent. I can't say yes or no because I've never really cared per se. But you're saying no. I guess after the All Out match that we assume he's not going to win, we'll see where he goes from there and where his story goes from there. But yeah,
I would say no only because I've been watching him also on Impact and doing the work there, and I've been really enjoying seeing him. So that's like a combination of that and AEW, and it's like I said, I think I tweeted that I never get tired of just watching Christian. I just really like Christian. I don't know why.
He's a cool guy.
He's cool. He's really cool.
He's definitely just like a cool guy. A really good promo, like I said. But beyond that, I'm just.
He kind of reminds me of myself a little bit. Like he's just like a tall, lanky guy. He's not the biggest, but he's still strong. He still can go.
Don't put yourself down. Don't compare yourself to Christian. Come
on. Captain Charisma. But also, to kind of go off the Christian thing, we had another clash, which is part 2 of our number 4 of the week, on Rampage between Miro and Eddie Kingston for another title that will be on the line at All Out. And Miro came out his Redeemer thing, and he dragged out Fuego del Sol, and he said that in the ring that he has forgiven him, but he thinks that he should have to pay a debt for that forgiveness that was given. So he unmasked him in front of the Milwaukee crowd on Rampage. Fuego luckily got his arms up and blocked people from seeing it. Someone in the back took a lot of offense to this. Eddie Kingston, who Miro has been kind of chirping at. And Eddie ran out looking like he just got out of the bodega in New York City with his Timberland boots, and he just ran at him. And these two had a little bit of a fight, and I was dying.
I said he just come out of the bodega. You're silly. Oh my god.
Yeah, man. He looked funny though with those boots, man.
So he came out with the mic as if he was gonna say something, and then just dropped the mic and ran to the.
You know what? No,
yeah. You know what? When we do our predictions, when we talk about this All Out card, I'm half gonna say we're gonna get maybe an Eddie Kingston shock win.
Right, but people were so excited for this in New York.
He might do a big title defense in New York.
I thought he was going to win in New York. This is another swerve that we haven't covered yet. We had the Daniel Bryan swerve from Arthur. What is happening with? I forgot about this, and I have to say it. I was talking to somebody. Shout out to Mike McNicholas Mittens. He is from New York, big fan of all wrestling, and travels to go to all the shows. Are you about to say
what I was? I think you're about to say what I was thinking, but go on.
Yeah, I think I am too. He's from New York, and he's saying that some of the restrictions that are being put in place in New York State are really hurting the potential for Arthur Ashe Stadium. And maybe they're moving all this stuff because they know that this is not going to be what people think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Was that what you were thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking when they moved Daniel Bryan, that's the first thing I thought, that nothing necessarily related to COVID, just maybe that particular stadium and stuff isn't going to actually happen. Maybe they're going to have to move that show last minute to somewhere else in New York, or I don't know, because I remember Tony Khan saying that there has never been wrestling at this stadium.
Mm-hmm.
There's never been a wrestling show at this stadium.
Tennis stadium.
Yeah. So that, like you're saying, it could be like a logistics kind of thing, or maybe maybe it is COVID related or whatever, restriction related. Who knows? But
I think it is.
Yeah, I do think there's something going on with this show that maybe we just don't know about yet.
I had to wear a mask last night. We weren't wearing masks in New Jersey for shows, but last night it was enforced. Like I think in my personal opinion, from being from here, I think that they're going to capacity limit this place.
Yeah, we'll see how it turns out, and yeah, like we're saying, that might be a very big factor as to the Eddie Kingston win there, or Daniel Bryan debuting there. But I'm thinking Kingston might get a shock win, because if we look
I
at,
agree.
are we going to get any title changes on the card? That could be a good one, and a shock one as well, because Miro is on a complete tear right now. Remember what I told you about the Bulgarian thing on the side of the thing? Yeah, the Bulgarian thing of whatever's on the side plate of the TNT title about opportunities, and this is the 8th opportunity or whatever, where things go wrong apparently.
I still gotta write this down.
Yeah. There is some type of fable or some type of what do they call it, like thing in history of this thing on the side of the side plate in Bulgaria, which represents opportunity. 7 or 8 opportunities, I can't remember whatever the number is, and basically if this is all tying in together, if I'm correct, Miro has defended that title 7 or 8 times now.
I'm trying to find this right now, people, and I'm gonna have to remind you to
yeah, you might have to look deeper than the time we've got on the show, but I've definitely, I read this a couple of weeks ago, and people speculating that Miro will lose the title on either the 8th or the 9th defense, if they are really going by this side plate thing on the TNT title,
which is cool. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But Eddie Kingston, the shock win against Miro, it could happen.
I'm rooting for Eddie 100%. He's from basically my area, and I love what he represents. I'm totally going for Eddie, man.
Yeah, and Chicago's not New York, but Chicago is a rabid crowd like New York would be.
It's a tough crowd, tough customers.
Yeah, they you say tough, but at the same time, it's because of the love, the passion for the sport, So yeah, I still think that if he won, the roof will get blown off the place. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure, and that leads us into the 5th and final thing that we were going to talk about. The all-out card has really, based on Dynamite and Rampage and everything this week, has really been set, and we could talk about that and go over it quickly, and I'll just run through it real quick, and then we could talk about what we want to talk about for the card. But we have the Kenny Omega, Christian Cage AEW World Championship match. We have CM Punk taking on the Enigma Darby Allin. We have Britt Baker taking on Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's Championship. We have the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros in a steel cage match for the Tag Team Championships. We have the final fight. If Jericho loses, he will never wrestle again. Chris Jericho versus MJF. We have Andrade El Idolo versus Pac. And we have on the buy-in the Women's Casino Battle Royal for a shot at the Women's Championship. We have Paul White versus QT Marshall. And the New Japan AEW crossover, Jon Moxley versus Bread Club Satoshi Kojima. That's our all-out card. So pretty strong one.
It is a good card, and this is like we were saying earlier in the show, the placement is so key because there's so many really important matches on this card. What I think we should talk about before we kind of get onto our highlights of the week is, let's just speculate now. We've got the Women's Casino Battle Royal. There's going to be a Joker. I'll go to you first. Who do you think the Joker is going to be?
Well, let's talk about the possibilities and really what's in the forefront of right now in the women's wrestling world, and that's NWA Empower. That happened this weekend. A lot of really cool women were spotlighted at this show. Chelsea Green won the tournament. We had Melina. We had Deonna Purrazzo. We had a lot of Camille. We had a lot of really great women's action. So who I think is going to be Layla Hirsch. I think I'm going to go with Deonna for this one. She's been constantly talking about how she wants to come through the forbidden door, and what a better opportunity to win this battle royal and face Britt Baker. And I think it's going to be her. What about you?
Well, I don't think anyone can beat this answer from Stefan. Charlotte Flair.
I would be cool with
Charlotte,
that.
Charlotte Flair would come if she was given permission 100%, because Charlotte wins everything. Black Nito agrees with you, Deonna Purrazzo. Great shout. Obviously, I'm looking at the free agents around the place. We've got Ruby Soho. We've got Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah. The Iconics too, Chelsea Green as well.
The Iconics would come through. They're now called the Inspiration. They could come through as like one, because they are, they're joint at the hip. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's a group deal.
So them coming through together wouldn't even be an issue for me. My only thing is this spot. I always feel like whoever comes through should kind of win, because they're like the big pop. It's what everyone's waiting for in this match.
Yeah. I think Chelsea or Deonna could take it.
Chelsea's a good shout. Deonna Purrazzo versus the winner gets a women's title shot, innit?
Yeah, and I don't think Deonna would dethrone Britt, but I think it'd be. Deonna wants the match, and she said she wants the match, so she wants to do it. So I guess she's okay with and potentially taking the loss.
Yeah. Britt Baker would beat her, and I think that would set her up nicely to then get to the Thunder Rosa story. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with you lot. I'm gonna say Deonna Purrazzo.
That's a great pick.
She's very hot right now. Very, very hot.
What about this Moxley match? I mean, Tanahashi ran away to Japan and didn't come back.
This is where you go wah wah wah.
Yeah, well, what a letdown! A stupid company. I mean, I like Kojima a lot, and he's a legend, and people need to put some respect on that man's name. He's the only person ever to carry the IWGP and All Japan Triple Crown Championships at the same time. So he's very good, but everyone was really looking forward to Tanahashi, and they wanted him to go back and face Ibushi, who's also sick. So that's probably not going to happen. Everyone's just sick over there. So, yeah, what a letdown.
It is. It very much is. And I think even the way that, Moxley kind of just said it's going to be Kojima, I was like, yeah.
He's the only one that answered him. Is what Moxley said.
It's not what we came here for. It's one of them ones.
No.
But let's just kind of get through it. And this is probably one of the most inconsequential matches on the card.
It doesn't really matter.
Win or lose, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters here. So let's just take it for what it is. It's a New Japan AEW crossover. Moxley facing a legend in Kojima. And yeah, we'll just see how it goes.
I hope it goes well for them.
Yeah. But we're gonna speak before next week's All Out pay-per-view, so we'll kind of really break it down. We'll maybe
it'll be on Sunday. That's true.
Yeah, we'll dedicate and do a real kind of predictions ahead of the show. So that should be fun. But let's get into our highlights of the week. So I'll start. And I think from what, like you said, it was a week of AEW, but a weak week. Lucha Bros versus Jurassic Express, I think, is my highlight of the week. Just some great wrestling. Rey Fenix never fails to excite me with, just whatever he does. Even coming to the ring, he just does some incredible stuff just to get into the ring for his match. Walking the ropes and flipping in, and yeah, the guy is very, very talented, and very much looking forward to Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks cage match at All Out.
I'm looking forward to that too. That's a sick highlight. It was just such a cool match, and I really felt like after that, like Rampage kind of fell off for the rest of the night, which is unfortunate, but that's a great highlight. And I guess my my number one highlight. I really liked seeing Jamie Hayter go at Red Velvet and just really showcase her skills and her new look. I know she's been putting in a ton of work in the gym to really transform herself and to showcase that and get a lot of people's attention. That was awesome, and I would love to see the eventual downfall of their little group and have Britt face Jamie. I think that'd be another great title defense. So I left very impressed, and I thought that it was just a great addition to the women's roster.
Yeah, no, definitely. They've got a lot of good talents, and if we're to believe, that Ruby Soho's about to sign very soon and she's going to debut soon, there's still more to come. So yeah, Britt Baker seems like she's really benefited from becoming champion now, and she's got a long list of credible challengers in front of her that she can take on.
Yeah, definitely, especially with everything that's going on. Like we said, with the crossovers in the women's world of professional wrestling, there's some really great opportunities and the forbidden doors to cross and go through. What was your number 2 of the week? If you got one.
What could say another highlight was, I would say Tay Conti coming back on TV. We haven't seen Tay Conti on TV for a while. I know she had a losing effort against the Bunny, but I think it's just good to, remind us of her.
That's another great one for Britt.
Her early career in AEW was very much dependent on Anna Jay being there and the Dark Order stuff. And now that Anna Jay is obviously injured and she hasn't been on TV for a while, so just kind of breaking that mold, getting her back on TV was good to see.
I love seeing her. I really like her. She's one of the only women that I have women's wrestlers that I have merch for. So I really like Ty Conti. I was upset that she lost to the Bunny, but I thought she looked really good. And obviously, like the skill gap.
They cheated
again.
To win, so yeah,
they cheated to win, but the skill gap was apparent. Like, she's really been putting in the work, and I think this is another person that Britt could. I would really like to see this next. If it's not going to be Deanna going through the Forbidden Door, I'd like to see the title defense of Britt Baker and Ty Conti. I think that would be a really great matchup, and I think that they both could probably bounce off each other very well. But I'm excited for Statlander too. She ran out to defend, and that's how we got this match set up. So that was definitely a cool highlight.
Yeah. Statlander versus Britt Baker. I think the story going in hasn't been anything special. It's just been, I'm going to challenge you. Fair enough.
Looks like she's just been at the top of the contendership. So
yeah. Just worked her way up organically. But Statlander should really provide an awesome match. But yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our show. Thank you for joining us. Please remember to smash the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. All the audio listeners, please make sure you subscribe or follow on your podcast platform of choice. Leave us with a 5-star review. Let the people know the good work myself and Mike are doing right here at the Elite Maniac podcast. Next week, we'll be back live on YouTube. Like I said, 2 p.m. EST, 7 p.m. BST, UK time. We'll be doing the same thing that we did today, AEW rundown of our favorite bits from the past week, Rampage on Friday. Before that, we'll have Dynamite on Wednesday. And of course, we'll be bringing you our AEW all-out predictions for later on in the day. We've got the pay-per-view next Sunday, so very much looking forward to that. Mike, any last words before we get out of here?
Well, we were really trying to figure out this week what we could bring you instead of doing it on a Thursday because of, work schedules and life and things happen. So, we took a shot with this, and I personally had a lot of fun doing this style of coverage. It just felt more natural and easier to talk about. And I wasn't just so stressed about covering everything that happened on Dynamite. So I really hope that everybody who watched and who will listen to this enjoy this new format. And obviously, we are both open doors with criticism, comments, concerns, anything that you think we could do better. Or if you just want to tell us what you thought about our new format, we would love to hear it. But thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you again for helping me grow my side hobby into just a real passion,
Yeah.
and to 10,000 followers. Never thought that would happen. Starting out, with like 100, 200 people, really nobody listening to my post shows, to like it becoming a real thing. People, recognizing me at independent shows. It's really become just something that really means a lot to me. So thank you, everybody.
You heard the man, people. 10K, fantastic achievement. Well done again, Mike. It's
And
not
we're gonna get
finished though,
him there
guys.
soon. No, it's
Yeah,
not. And he's got to get there.
we'll get there soon. But for those that aren't following Mike, make sure you still follow his Instagram. That's Kings Road Wrestling. It's on the screen there, just under his name. And you can follow myself as well on Instagram, WrestleManiac.uk. We'll be back next Sunday, guys. Like I say, 2 p.m. EST, 7 p.m. UK time BST, to talk all things AEW from the week. So we will see you next week. Take care.